centuries ago, in the high mountain ranges of western Tibet, there existed a primitive world that was originally a giant egg, which later hatched into a white sacred mountain. The egg white became the ocean, the yolk became 18 medium-sized eggs, which then continued to hatch various creatures. They built a complete civilization with scientific and technological achievements, a distinctive, rich art, and a temple led by a supreme deity. With a strange and extraordinary origin.
In recent decades, scientists have conducted archaeological work in Tibetan regions
to understand the origin and development of this civilization. Zhongzheng was a culture, an ancient kingdom in what is now the Tibetan region. The people here practiced Bon religion, which influenced the teachings and practices of later Tibetan Buddhism. Additionally, Zhongzheng civilization is mentioned in historical records as the first force to rule the central and western Tibetan regions. According to the Manasarovar Chronicles, there was a time when this civilization included 18 small kingdoms in western and northwestern Tibet. Therefore, it can be said that Zhongzheng culture controlled most of the world's roof. However, whether the Zhongzheng kingdom was truly that large still needs verification, because to date, historians have only confirmed that this was an independent kingdom
that once covered the entire western Tibetan region.
For over 25 years, Professor John Vincent Beleza,
a senior researcher for the Tibet Center at the University of Virginia, has conducted archaeological research on inhabitants from the Stone Age in western Tibet,
as well as their deities and culture. Before in-depth studies of Upper Tibet in the 1990s and 2000s, very little information was known about the Zhongzheng people. Tibetans had forgotten their previous achievements, and also didn't know what once existed in the extreme regions of the plateau, Professor Beleza said.
The Zhongzheng people once inhabited a settlement area located 1,500 kilometers
northwest of Tibet's capital, Lhasa. This area has lakes and plains interspersed with mountain ranges. Currently, this area has very few inhabitants, in contrast to the period from 500 BCE to 625 CE, when he believes the area had more residents. Some excerpts from Professor Beleza's summary describe as follows. An astonishing architectural complex is evidence of Zhongzheng presence from around 1000 BCE. Castles were situated on high grounds, surrounded by agricultural farming areas. Additionally, temples were also built in hidden recesses. Even the archaeological team found tomb complexes using vertical standing stones here. At some locations, they found up to 10,000 tombs.
Moreover, many fortresses were built entirely of stone, using very heavy stone blocks to support the roof structures. The system of fortresses or stone citadels on the high plateau of Chongtang in Tibet was most likely used for defense against Central Asian-style tribes.
When arriving in Upper Tibet, Professor Beleza found many rich artistic narrative paintings, illustrating scenes of daily life in Zhongzheng. Throughout this vast land, carvings and rock paintings adorned the walls of cliffs and caves. These artworks recorded battles, sports competitions, hunting activities, animal husbandry, and religious beliefs with very detailed images. No other discovery could depict Zhongzheng society so vividly and intimately, he said. There were also pastoral and farming areas in ancient western Tibet. A series of artifacts have been excavated from tomb pits in recent years.
Some antiquities have appeared on the international art and antique market,
ranging from gemstones to a variety of metal castings, porcelain, wooden items, silk, and some woolen threads. Meanwhile, other stone temples located on mountains bordering the plains, characterized by windowless rooms, stone roofs with supporting beams and surrounding walls.
Scientists are beginning to set out this remarkable ancient civilization,
suggesting that the features mentioned are closer to Iron Age cultures in Europe and the Asian steppe than to India or East Asia, indicating this was a culture influenced more from the northwest than the southeast. Memories of the Zhangzheng have been preserved in legends, myths, and even history, painting a comprehensive picture of their culture and society. Professor Buleza also mentioned that they recorded the construction of castles, temples, tombs, irrigation systems, and workshops. While the upper class lived in sturdy fortresses scattered throughout the city of Zhangzheng, farmers and herders had more modest homes spread widely. However, kinship, clan, and ritual relationships were the threads that connected the various social strata into a solid alliance, dominant for many centuries. Additionally, a few Zhangzheng texts have been found, proving the existence of what is believed to be the Zhangzheng language. Professor John claims that the Tibetan writing system originated from the Zhangzheng alphabet, while modern scholars acknowledge the clear origin of Tibetan script from northwest India, aligning with descriptions of Zhangzheng civilization. Currently, a language spoken by about 2,000 people in the Spiti Valley of Himachal Pradesh, a state in northwest India, is considered a descendant of Zhangzheng. Strange beliefs. As mentioned, the Zhangzheng civilization period was the cradle of Bon religion, so their gods are still worshipped in Tibetan Bon religion in later years. Bon scriptures say that in the primordial chaos of the universe, the god Gecko appeared from a jewel-encrusted egg shining brightly. This egg began to descend to earth through an intermediary of a primitive being, then merged with the radiance of the Father Mountain and Mother Lake. The egg began to hatch. From this miraculous egg hatched Gecko, lord of the land of Tagzi, initially depicted as a wild and fierce yellow yak. This transparent divine yak descended to the territory of Zhangzheng behind the Great Snow Mountain. And at that time, the earth moved in 6 different ways, and the swirling ocean was spewing out foam. In the sky then appeared a brilliant light, with the beautiful sounds of wine echoing in space. Beautiful flowers and many other strange phenomena appeared on Earth. The rocks from the peak of the Great Snow Mountain fell onto Gecko's left and right horns, and he reattached them to the left and right sides of his horn pair. It is said that even to this day, the marks of Gecko's horns and hooves can still be seen on those rocks. Only in the final phase of the deity system was the image of the Great Yak transformed into light and dissolved into the Great Snow Mountain, and since then, reappeared in countless different forms. According to Professor Beleza's view, he believes that a creator god being born from an egg is a common motif in mythology. Additionally, Gecko is considered part of the pantheon of Bon deities. He is an important guardian deity in this religion and often appears in the form of a Tibetan tantric deity with 18 arms. The professor further revealed that Gecko's wife, Drapai Gyamo, was also an important deity in the western Tibetan region. She often appears in the guise of a female warrior. Although somewhat strange, destroying demons is probably one of the other common themes present in many cultures. It is really difficult to say exactly when this type of belief appeared, but it was likely very early in human history. According to Professor Beleza, in this ancient religion now known as Eternal Bon religion, Gecko is the king of the gods and has the duty to oversee all beings in the Tibetan region. He governs many spirits, some strong, others not. The name Gecko, or translated from Zhangzheng, also means the demon slayer. But while the Zhangzheng kingdom dates from 500 years BCE, the materials describe the god Gecko as appearing no more than 1,000 years ago. In the late period, when the old religion was being integrated into the concepts and principles of Buddhism, which was gradually being introduced to this land. However, Beleza visited a prehistoric stone settlement that he believes is where, according to Zhongjun perception, Gecko first descended to Earth.
He discovered that the residential complex seemed to have public and religious functions.
Yet the origin of this settlement has been lost in the flow of history. It has not been preserved in either the written or oral traditions of the Eternal Bon religion. This settlement has 17 buildings with stone supporting arms. It was built in the architectural style common in Upper Tibet during the first millennium BC. Although the exact construction date has not been clearly determined.
These structures are located at an altitude of approximately 5,130 to 5,250 meters above sea level.
This means they are above the altitude where humans can live comfortably. However, they lived here during the Iron Age because the climate was milder then.
The professor also believes that people at that time were very robust and highly skilled.
This settlement and the Zhongjun civilization in general faced climate change and severe environmental degradation.
Although the Zhongjun civilization has long disappeared,
some of its fundamental foundations still have a profound influence in the hearts of the Tibetan people. It can be seen that the human spirit and the values they cherish will never fade. What do you think about the Zhongjun civilization
that once flourished in this Tibetan land?
Is this the precise precursor of the cultural and religious elements here? Please share some of your views or feelings in the comment section right after the video ends. Now, goodbye and see you all in the next videos.